We say welcome, extended family and friends who are viewing us via Facebook and on YouTube. We welcome you to the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living. Thank you for joining us today, and we're continuing with our theme for the month of June, which is In Living Color. And this is an invitation to recognize that happiness is our birthright. What better way to show our happiness than with pride and with color? Yesterday, I attended our School of Spiritual Leadership ministerial graduation that was hosted by our San Jose Center for Spiritual Living. And it was a really wonderful celebration. It brought back memories of my own graduation several years ago. This year, the students selected as their theme, Answering the Call, Stepping into Divine Flow, reflecting the quote by Ernest Holmes, who is our founder. It's not a question of failing or succeeding. It's simply a question of sticking to an idea until it becomes a tangible reality. Think about that for a moment. Sticking to an idea until it becomes a tangible reality. And a lot of times we fall victim, and I'll personalize this, a lot of times I fall victim to backing off of a dream or a vision or a goal that I may have set myself because I haven't met certain markers along the way. And it's that opportunity to step into this place of recognizing that it's a journey. It is not a destination, it is a journey. And so the mistakes or the missteps or the detours that we take along the way are all part of supporting us in leading to this vision, this goal, becoming a tangible reality. There were 5 students from the Napa campus. We have 4 campuses that are a School of Spiritual Leadership. So these 5 students completed their academic requirements, and now they have a few additional requirements to complete in preparation for ministerial licensing. So next Sunday, one of the graduates, a friend of our center, Brother Lucian Baker, will be our guest speaker. Ministerial intern Lucian Baker will be our guest speaker. So today, we move into part 2 of our celebration of Immigrant Heritage and Pride Month. And we lean into this topic, do what you want to do, inviting everyone to live authentically, out loud, and in color. I share this quote from Ernest Holmes from the Science Mind textbook. It should be considered right to live and enjoy living, to be well, happy, and to express freedom. It is to be in accord with the divine law of wisdom. This week on June 12th, which I believe is Thursday, is the annual commemoration of Loving Day. And some of you may be familiar with this landmark Supreme Court decision in 1967, the case involving Loving versus the state of Virginia. And in this ruling, the court ruled that marriage is a fundamental right and that restricting it based on race is unconstitutional. And a little background to the case. It's centered around Mildred Jeter, a Black and Native American woman, and Richard Loving, a white man who married in Washington, D.C. to avoid the Virginia laws of miscegenation. Returning to Virginia, they were arrested, convicted, and forced to leave the state for 25 years. The Lovings didn't seek the spotlight. They wanted to live as husband and wife in their hometown in peace. Their quiet courage became a catalyst for change. And a takeaway from this is to reflect on those times in our own lives where our quiet courage became that catalyst for change and inspired others to do the same thing. Some spiritual insights that we may gather from Loving Day. It's more than a legal anniversary. It's a celebration of love's power to overcome prejudice. It reminds us that love is not bound by law, race, or social convention, and calls us to know the presence of the divine in every relationship formed for mutual respect and authentic connection. Richard and Mildred Loving revealed a sacred truth that love, when honored and protected, has the power to dissolve fear, dismantle injustice, and awaken a deeper unity among all. And so when we honor love, we honor the divine. When we protect the right to love freely, we move closer to a world where justice is not a courtroom verdict. It is a lived reality for all. And we're stepping into our global vision for the Centers for Spiritual Living, and that is creating a world that works for everyone. And I always add, exactly where they are. And so, do what you want to do, a Science of Mind perspective. In 1977, the group T Connection wrote this popular song, Do What You Want to Do. And I'll share with you some of the lyrics. Everybody's starting to pick on you. Just can't let them tell you what to do. You got only one life, so live it cool. It's a world of strife. You can't be a fool. Don't let nobody tell you what to do. You're going to be your judge and your jury too. Got to do your thing, let it all hang out. Got to really show them what it's all about. Move on up, don't look around. People will always try to put you down, down, down. And so this song conveys for us a message of empowerment, individuality, and self-expression, encouraging the listener to stand up for themselves and not let others dictate their actions or their decisions. And so bringing that home, I offer the question to you this morning. How often have you stood up or attempted to practice an idea or a decision that did not resonate with you authentically? But there was a big person in your life, however you may define that big person, that was controlling those puppet strings, if you will, and forcing you into a place that was not your true authenticity. I remember a situation for my own self where someone was asking me to abandon the teachings of Science of Mind to follow a vision that they had. It was something that I was participating in. It was actually growth and development personal seminars that was facilitated by a former Science of Mind minister. And I had done something in a leadership position that rubbed this individual the wrong way. And so in calling me on the carpet, he said, you've got to forget, you've got to let go of everything that you know about Science of Mind, and you've got to do what I do. We happened to be in a setting like this, and I was standing up on the podium, and I was actually leaning on the podium when he was talking to me. And I said to him, based on my traditional upbringing, if I cuss you out, God would strike me dead. And I'm not ready to die. So we will continue this situation outside. And so in that moment, I realized that while we were looking at a possible business opportunity together, I had to forsake what my vision and what my dream and what my calling was in order to follow his vision. And I go, no. This is my life. I followed enough visions up to this point. It's now time for me to stand in my truth and in my authenticity. And so this leads us into the question, what is the meaning of the courage to be yourself? We're often told to be ourselves, and sometimes it feels challenging to do so. In meditation, Spirit asked me this question: am I a safe place to land? Am I a safe place to land? And I often speak of welcoming and affirming and inclusion and equity and belonging and creating brave spaces that encourage authenticity as a priority. However, this little prompt from Spirit asked me to go within and ask in my quiet time with myself, am I embodying these qualities? And so that's the question I ask of each one of you this morning. Are the words that are coming out of your mouth reflective of the inner qualities in your own individual authenticity? Am I living the life that I am talking about? Ernest Holmes offers this in the Science of Mind textbook on page 51. And he wrote, one of the greatest difficulties in the new order of thought is that we are more likely to indulge in too much theory and too little practice. And so, it's nice and convenient to stand up here as the talking head and talk about the practice and talk about the theory and all of the learning that takes place in the ministerial classes and in our ongoing education. But where the rubber hits the road is what I do in my own quiet time. What I do when I'm not up here. What I do when I'm in those quiet places. Or what I do when I'm out in the world and I encounter those situations that are not Spirit-centered or not in alignment with my truth and what it is that I practice and what it is that I teach. And so as Mark Nepo says, this is a question to be with. When we are not celebrated for our authentic expression, we tend to shrink ourselves to adapt to an environment which does not honor our authenticity. We are invited to examine and to heal any shame we may be feeling regarding aspects of our identity that we may have been reluctant to express. And I'm going to step into some waters that as ministers we are told not to. We're told not to discuss sex, not to discuss politics, and not to discuss money, even though our call is to raise money to keep our institutions thriving and growing. So I'm going to step into the waters of sexuality this morning. Another question to be with. And this is in honor of our celebration of Pride Month, being with our LGBTQ plus siblings as we walk together through this journey that is called life. And so the question is heteronormativity a deeply ingrained cultural value, or do many of us, as research suggests, exist somewhere along the diverse spectrum of sexuality? Beyond sexuality, a life of monogamy practiced because it feels true to us or simply because it is expected of us? Have we paused to reflect on our own personal relationship with gender identity, considering how we express it and how we understand it? Whether it's our sexuality, gender identity, or an aspect of ourselves that we are afraid to express, this hesitation is a divine appointment calling us inward to express our greater authenticity. These are all questions for us to be with in the quiet spaces of our own time, because we are the only ones that can answer these questions for ourselves. And I did something I normally don't do on Sundays before coming in for service, and that is went on social media. And I made the mistake of reading a post about two men who are on the cover of a magazine and are embracing their love and their honor for each other. And the comments in the post, talking about taking you down, 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 down. It's all of this, all of the opinions, not based in fact, not based in truth, based in erroneous ideas and teachings. And we still are asking, are not all of us on this journey together? Are not all of us called to express divine love for one another? And this leads into the next question: what are our true colors? In honor of LGBTQ plus Pride, we have a perfect opportunity to explore who we truly are. The Pride flag, which we proudly display here in our center, is associated with the colors of the rainbow, and it is an excellent example of people living in color. In our Science of Mind magazine, Ernest Holmes wrote this in the April 1996 issue: "Color belongs to us because God is a colorful being. How can that which painted nature with such a lavish brush be anything but colorful?" And so it's a pause and a call to look at the vast array of colors in nature and to say, if God can do this in nature, what can God do in its creations, expressing as humanity, expressing as the divine? Our spiritual gifts from this quote is that we benefit from coming out of our emotional intoxication into being our true and authentic selves. Our pride is showing. Historically, our understanding of God through the lens of science and mind has been a source of controversy. However, today it is more common than ever, and we're invited to be ourselves in places where we have been hesitant to share. Science of Mind has been known within the New Thought community as one of the best kept secrets. And sometimes we've taken pride in saying we're one of the best kept secrets. I got news for you. The secret is out. We are no longer a secret. And as we step into our authenticity, and we share the teachings and the principles and the practices of Science of Mind, which are basically love one another as I have loved you. We're called to step forward and participate in communities, and especially in our families. Our families can be our laboratory of learning. We're called to be in those places where we make a difference in the way that we show up. And one of the ways that we can make a difference here at our Monterey Center for Spiritual Living, and I invite those of you who may be seeing Monterey as a destination, if you are in the neighborhood on June 29th, the last Sunday of this month, it's an opportunity to release our old story about being the best kept secret and bring a friend. So we are bringing a friend on Sunday the 29th, and we will celebrate with our Fifth Sunday potluck after service as we normally do. And so do what you want to do by sharing who we really are in the world. That invites us to come out of the spiritual closet and tell the world about our relationship with the divine. Letting go of the dogma, letting go of traditions that separate us, and looking at those places where we're united in love and joy with one another. It requires courage to stand in our truth and to own who we are. And the more authentically we express ourselves, the more we inspire others to do the same. And so I invite us now to say together our affirmation for the week. And the words will be on our screen. And we'll say this 2 times. I love who I am, trusting in my higher self to guide me in every step. I love who I am, trusting myself to guide me in every step. I love who I am. Just those words can be a powerful affirmation for us. And as we recognize that God is the love that I am, I invite us to pray together. Recognizing the one life, the one source of all that there is, that which is holding everything in absolute harmony and balance, that which lives itself as me and lives itself in and through and as each one, as individualized expressions of itself. I know that we're all one in God. And so I speak my word this morning, acknowledging the oneness of all life, acknowledging love binds all together, and love casts out fear. Love casts out hate. Love casts out anything that is not like itself. And so as I consciously choose a new way of being, a new way of showing up, authentically, knowing that I am the place where God shows up. I move into this place of being and seeing all things as united. I move into this place of knowing the truth of my being and the truth of the beingness of all life. I celebrate unity, I celebrate joy, I celebrate love. I speak my word of healing for those who are feeling separate from this divine source. That healing of doubt and fear, that healing from any ideas of separation, healing into these places of love and wholeness and completeness. And I speak my word this morning for people who are gathered in the name and the nature of the one love and the one life. I speak my word this morning for those who are experiencing transitions in their lives. Transitions of loved ones who have stepped off of the mortal plane into the eternality of the continuation of life, knowing that each time there is a memory of our loved ones, they live on in our lives and in our hearts. I speak my word, sending it into those places where there's discord and disharmony, where there is mistrust, where there is doubt that is being cast on a person's right to right livelihood, a person's right to speak up for injustice, and for cessation of those places where violence is taking place in our hearts, in our minds, and in the world around us, knowing that peace prevails. Because when there is peace in my heart, there is peace in my mind. And when there is peace in my mind, there is peace in the world. And for the prayer request that we hold in our hearts, I know that the answer is yes and amen. And for this and so much more, I am truly grateful. As I release this word into that law, which always says yes, knowing that my word cannot return void, that it must produce what I have declared. And so in joy, in celebration, and in the absolute knowing that my word is done, I allow it to be. And if any of what I have said resonates with you in any way, let us affirm it together by saying, and so it is, and so it is. And this is our opportunity to share our abundance together. We have a statement of affirmation, an abundance affirmation, and the words are on our screen. I invite us to say this together. I recognize the presence of God within as the source of my abundance. Out of my abundance consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the flow of uninterrupted abundance. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. And as the greeter passes the basket here in the center, we just want to continue to acknowledge all of you who support our continue. We are, Irene. Person in red. Thank you for your generosity in supporting our center. For those of you who donate online, we really appreciate it. And our online website is montereycsl.org/donate. For those of you who mail in your donations, you may mail them in to our physical address, 400 West Franklin Street here in Monterey. And we also have the opportunity for you to text to give, and that number is 831-246-9694. For our friends and family that are viewing us via YouTube and our Facebook channel, just a reminder, Facebook is changing the way that they store materials. So I believe beginning next month, or either at the end of next month, they will only store videos that are less than 30 days or less, 30 days old or less. And so if there's a favorite video of yours that is on YouTube, I invite you to download it and save it, or also sign up for our YouTube channel, and our content will be stored on YouTube. And so we invite those in our viewing family to join us next week as we continue our theme of In Living Color. And the topic will be, It's Never Too Late or It's Never Too Soon. And we will honor June 13th as we remember that it's never too late to contribute to restorative justice, to heal a cultural history of enslavement. It's never too soon to amplify the voices of our Black Americans and create new traditions and celebrations. And also remember that our special guest speaker will be Brother Lucian Baker, ministerial intern and recent graduate of our Centers for Spiritual Living School of Spiritual Leadership. Please tune in. I know Lucian will bring a dynamic message for us. And so we say good morning. We love you. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.